Are you a professional pillow fighter? Or a 9-to-5 low-cost time travel agent? Or maybe real estate sales on Mars is your profession? It doesn't matter. Whatever it is you do, however complex or intricate, Monday.com can help you organize, orchestrate, and make it more efficient. Monday.com is the one centralized platform for everything work-related. And with Monday.com, work is just easier. Monday.com, for whatever you run. Go to Monday.com to learn more.
Thanks for coming back to hear the second episode of Janeane Garofalo's Kill Me Now with Judy Gold. Check out the first episode. If you haven't heard it, you can get it at judygold.com/killmenow. Got bed face? You should get Bedface. Bedface is an online bedding brand that creates the best damn sheets on the internet. They offer high quality cotton bedding in 24 mix and match colors with 28 million possible combinations, so you can make your dream bed. These sheets are so soft and beautiful. The Bedmaker tool online lets you visualize and dream your set before you buy it. It'll match your wallpaper, it could match your fish tank, it could match your skin color, it could match your lover's skin color, whatever you want. Bedface backs all products with a no questions asked 100 night guarantee. So basically, use your sheets for 100 nights. If you're not into it, they'll give you your money back. No questions asked. They work directly with their makers to pass the savings along to you. So they're like the farmer's market of high quality sheets. Shop bedface.com and use our promo code JudyGold for 20% off your order. Definitely try this. It's really worth it. They sent Judy and I some. I've been sleeping in them, and I feel better every day waking up in those sheets. Shop bedface.com and use promo code JudyGold for 20% off. Bedface.com, Judy Gold, 20% off. Try these sheets and tell me they're not the best sheets you've ever had in your life. What are you waiting for? Get on it. Bedface.
Well, I don't see the point in waiting any longer. So let's bring her out. Our star attraction, the one you came to see. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, Miss Judy Gold.
Your disillusionment with quote-unquote showbiz. Do you?
I'm not disillusioned with showbiz.
No, I'm all right. That's the wrong word.
Reality,
no, blah, blah, blah.
I'm just
Blah, blah, blah.
admit it.
Let's say it's a turning point of in-your-face reality. Was it the Jerry Maguire? How did that affect you?
That actually has been mythologized, what happened with Jerry Maguire. That actually, no, that doesn't. That's the norm. But I see, as I got older, I realized the
right.
reason
So
that,
what was the first thing?
Oh, that happened early when I
yeah.
realized that I was very lucky. Honestly, like from the beginning.
Because I feel like men don't think they're lucky.
I'm sure. No. I think there's plenty who do. There's some that maybe don't admit to it, but there's plenty of men I know who feel like, oh wow,
right, because they're friends with you, and you can't be friends with you and be a bullshit artist. That is one thing. But I'm saying, you know, here you are. When was it like? When was? You know how? All right. You know.
I know what you're saying. There's a number of things. There wasn't Jerry Maguire,
yeah.
because that actually is the way it works, contrary to Charlize Theron's
right.
thing. And
we should explain.
Renee Zellweger was great in it. Now it was a thing, and as it turned out, there was, you know how people don't always communicate with each other behind the scenes. One person wants you for something they don't really share with you, that the person who matters most doesn't want you for something.
Right.
So a lot of information doesn't come to you until after the fact.
Right.
So yes, I did lose some weight and stuff, and thought I was in the running. It turns out I was never really as much in the running as at the time I was told I was. But actually, more disillusioned. You know, the Fight Club. I was cast in that, and then I was dismissed. Now, there's a myth that I left that of my own accord. That is not true. Before it even started shooting, Edward Norton felt I wasn't a good enough actor. And so David Fincher deferred to him because Edward Norton and he were developing the script.
Right.
Based on the book, The Fight Club by Chuck
And how did
Palahniuk.
that affect you?
It hurt me terribly.
Right.
I had offered, can I do an audition with him? No. Now, then he had wanted Courtney Love to do it. They were dating at the time, and Brad Pitt said no. They agreed on Helena Bonham Carter, who I'm a huge fan of, and she's wonderful.
Yes.
Now, I wish it didn't go down that way. I think she's great, and I probably would have been very unhappy on a set where I wasn't wanted.
Right.
And it would have been probably something where I was fired after it started, which would have been far worse for me.
Right.
But I do wish I had been given the opportunity to try.
Right.
But Helena Bonham Carter is fantastic, and she, you know what I mean. And
She
I
makes
hear
some
working
funny
with
faces.
David Fincher can be difficult. Do you know what I mean? And also Ed Norton, who I think is a wonderful actor.
Yes.
He still to this day will avoid eye contact with me.
Really?
He lives near me, and we have some mutual friends. I don't know him personally,
Right.
And by all accounts of my mutual friends, they love him. He's a great guy, and I do think he's a wonderful actor.
And would you be willing to just go, hey, Ed?
No. Actually, Brad Pitt apologized to me. He didn't even need to. Great guy. He didn't need to. I saw him once, and he said, "I want to say I'm sorry about what happened. I didn't know that was going on, and I'm sorry about what happened." I was like, "Oh, it's fine." Like I said, I think I would have been very hurt by the machinations of politics on that set because I wasn't wanted there, or fired, which happens all the time to people.
Yes.
So that was a bummer. But I have come to have these moments of realizing how unfair sometimes. And again, this is an elective. This goes on in everybody's line of work, in everybody's vocation, no matter what you do. There are unfair things that happen. So it's not pertains to this business, but this is the only job I can tell you about.
In this business, the unfair could be your eye color or your, what haircut you have.
In the same thing, looks count in almost every line of work, whether people admit to it or not, and stuff like that.
What was your first your biggest? I just want to know the first huge disappointment that taught you, whoa.
It happened being with CAA. I should have never left my agent and gone to CAA. Why they even had one of the guys woo me, and then I died there.
That's what has happened to me. You go to a big agency, and they don't.
They were actively not. They believed I was a has-been. It was
right.
It was all over. And then finally, one of the junior agents took pity on me and said, "You must leave." My low self-esteem fit in perfectly to their plan. I believed. They believed I was a has-been. I believed it. That's my fault,
You're a comic.
I just stayed there.
That's not your fault.
Because I believed when they said nobody will hire you, that kind of thing.
Right.
And the first thing you should do when somebody says nobody will hire you is leave that person.
Right.
But when you feel that it seems to be correct.
That's how I left a manager who said, no one wants you.
Most managers and agents say that to people because they don't feel like being proactive. That's really
exactly,
not what
they don't
managers
want
and
to
agents
do
do.
the
They
work.
don't want to do the work.
There's one person, I guarantee you, in this town who wants me, and it's so, to hear that, it's so...
And that's just... managers and agents, for the most part, because there's some great ones, but for the most part, they are in the business of answering the phone, not picking it up. And that's why when there's heat on people, they are rolling calls. It's very easy. But they don't like to be proactive, and they also don't like to take any responsibility whatsoever for anyone's career.
Unless it goes really well.
Unless it goes well, they're fine with that, but never the other way around. But most people are like that. Now, again, having said that, CAA taught me painful. It was a horrible place to be for someone like me. They don't deal with people that aren't hot. That you know what I mean?
Right.
Like they deal with mega stars. So there was no reason to have signed me. I don't know.
So
and
you
there was
left
no
CAA.
reason for me to have left my agents at the time, Gersh, and now I'm back with them, and they took me back, thank God. And then I went to UTA where I died. Nobody believed in me there. Why was I there? Why did it happen again?
Now, was it a manager that said, let's go to UTA?
No, there was one person who seemed to be vaguely interested, and I had left CAA, and I was desperate, and this person seemed like they were interested in me, and it turned out apparently they weren't. You know what I mean? Things change. It's just one of those things.
Have you had managers or one person?
I've been with Dave Rath and Carl Welker
since
since they were managers.
Yeah.
Originally, Dave Rath was a doorman at the Improv.
Oh,
and Carl
God, I
was
remember
Rick Messina's
Dave. I
assistant.
know. I love them.
So I've been with them about 30 years. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like they are my managers and my friends.
I love them.
And I have been now with David DiCamillo. He's great, and Samantha Chalk and my team at Gersh. They were my first agents in the early 90s. And then at the end of the 90s, in some stupid move, and I'm not usually susceptible to that kind of thing, I went to CAA thinking just for the sake of a change or something. And
Well,
then
you think that they're going to move you up.
Well, I don't know. I believed the nonsense I was
Right, of
told, and I
course.
shouldn't have.
So
Even though I had great agents, that's the weirdest
Right.
part. It was almost like shooting myself in the foot for no reason, and then you did it again. Went to another agency that never did they answer when I called. The assistant was clearly told to say they are in a meeting because it was immediate as soon as after your name, and there was never a time when they would take the call.
And
that's when you should know you should leave, and it's your own fault when you don't. And Gersh is not like that.
But had you not gone, you might have always asked, what if I had gone to this agency?
I might have, but it just was a stupid, and it hurt the feelings of very devoted friends and agents, who were kind enough to allow me back in.
Well, yeah,
there was no reason to leave, and it was, and also I took 2 years off to work at Air America, which was also then saying, I want to be an actor again.
I love Sam. I know.
The greatest.
We just had him on. We talked about you a lot.
He's the greatest.
The greatest guy.
He is
and smart.
One of the greatest people. Smart, funny,
gorgeous.
He is gorgeous. He's so handsome.
Elisa, my partner, is like, oh my God, Sam's on.
No, he is. He's very
so
handsome. And he has no idea
I know.
that he's handsome.
Hey, boss, how's it going?
So, you know how every time I go home, I immediately take off my bra
Yeah.
and my shoes
Mhm.
and my pants.
Mhm.
Okay.
It's kind of a little ritual.
Like, the first thing I'm going to take off is my bra.
Yeah.
So,
You're amazing at it too, like one-handed.
Thank you.
hands.
Yeah, I'm really good. Because, I'm a lesbian, so I've taken other people's off as well. Anyway.
I
the
learn
point
from you
is-
every day.
Thank you. And I have some, really fancy bras, But I have to tell you, I got this Third Love bra. Okay, can I just tell you something? It's like a T-shirt. I don't even need to take it off. I take off my shoes, my socks, and my pants, and I leave my bra on. It's like I'm not even wearing anything. It's great because, in the spring when you go through all your drawers and you're like, I've been wearing this bra for 4 years and it smells and it has, sweat stains on it.
And the under wires all popping out.
Yeah, this thing is so fucking comfortable, I can't even tell you. It's called Third Love. For 30 days, you can start a free trial right now. You go to thirdlove.com/killme. And thirdlove.com/killme. And I'm telling you, it is the most comfortable bra I've ever owned.
When I read about the Rob Cohen thing.
And there's many Rob Cohens. This is the one who's 6'4" with a son named Rocket. He has a baby boy named Rocket Cohen.
Rocket Cohen. I had a different take. So you had thought you fake married him? Or...
Yeah, we thought we got married all in fun.
Right.
And apparently, I don't recall this because I was very drunk. We
Right.
signed some papers or something.
Right. When
But
he
his
went to-
lawyer, I think, didn't need to make an issue of it,
Right.
but there's billable hours.
Right.
So there was no reason to tell the lawyer about it. I had urged that not happen because others that got married, with this inside papers, have been married and divorced thrice-fold
Right.
since then with nary a
Right.
issue. There's no reason to have mentioned it, but I guess they felt they wanted to mention it, and there, of course, the lawyer was happy to spend time looking for these papers, which
Right.
somehow materialized.
Okay.
Then we had to have it dissolved by notary public. Then the lawyer lost the papers.
Hmm.
Then we had to have it dissolved again. Now, right after we did that, 20 minutes after we had it dissolved the first time, just coincidentally, we were doing a Ben Stiller reunion show at the Paley the Paley Center. Whatever it is.
The Paley Center.
And
in New York.
literally walked from the Notary Republic to do that. And so one of the press people asked a question just like, are there any funny stories you can share after all these years? And I said, well, we just got our marriages and we didn't know we were married.
Right.
Nothing was made of it at that time. Then it got picked up somehow by press and stuff like that. And Rob was so mad at me. So mad at me. I think because his wife felt hurt.
Right.
So he didn't know who to be mad at. Didn't want to be mad at her. So he just got mad at me. And both of us were laughing about it at the time.
Right.
I respect him a great deal. I love him, and he can be mad at me if he wants. But every time I
How
talk
many
about
years
it,
after?
well, we got
10?
married in the early '90s. We were married 20 years.
Okay.
we didn't know it. We didn't know it.
Yeah.
No, he still is angry when I bring it up because his wife doesn't like the story.
Do you?
But it's so funny to me. I don't feel like anybody should feel weird about this story.
How it affected me I've been a gay rights advocate for many, many years. And when I, what?
Yeah, no, I know how it
Are you
affects
talking about how the easiness of with
The
we could
fact
get
that,
married?
yes, that you were married, had no idea, and
Yeah.
it was legal. And
Although I have my doubts, I feel this lawyer
you
was
haven't.
pulling some shenanigans.
I'm just saying, it just
Right.
as an example.
Right,
like
I
when
know what
Britney
I hear what
Spears
you're
got
saying.
married.
I agree with you.
And to me, it was just another indication of these GOP senators.
it's
who
a
are,
fake issue for them.
right? It's the sanctity of marriage.
But they're bullshitting, right? That there is no this effect. It doesn't have any effect on anyone's marriage. The divorce rate, no
But
matter
you
who you are, where you come from, is high.
all the religion they
And
need.
and
But
infidelity is
it's
everybody.
rampant.
Everybody's
but
at it.
these two women who were at Disney World with their kid.
Yes.
You know this story,
Yes.
and she had a stroke and dies alone in the ICU because
yes.
the nurse won't let her. This is why is there? Where's the rage? I mean, I'm enraged.
There is, Judy. There is. It's just that the mainstream media doesn't tend to show it to you. But as passionate as you are right now, it is there. You're not the only one.
I'm also passionate about feminism and abortion rights and
reproductive justice. Reproductive justice. That's what it is. It's human rights. Feminism,
You
gay
know,
rights.
I said-
It's all human rights.
Right. It's all the rainbow is human rights.
Yes, yes.
I suggested to a friend of mine who makes docs the other day. I remember my mother. God, may she rest in peace. All right, so she died last June at 93. She was pro-choice. That was a big issue with her. I was just in Florida having lunch with Sandy Toll, and there's a bunch of women in their 80s, educated, Jewish, and talking about the election and how important, these women's rights are. And I thought, why don't we do a documentary with these 80-year-old women who have had abortions, who saw their mothers bleeding on the couch, who are, were there when it was illegal. And then my friend's like, oh, I'm sure it's been done.
It actually has, but and there's been. I'm sorry, but it has. But that doesn't mean there can't be another one.
Yeah.
But it's like
fine.
nothing
It's
we
fine.
do.
A good message
I
can't
feel
be
like
spread
you
enough.
can't argue with an old lady, really, but it doesn't.
But you're giving credit to the other.
Yes,
like I
I'm
said,
giving
you're
them-
giving credit that some of these things are beliefs held
Right,
by.
right,
now
right,
there's
right.
the cynics and the suckers. I'm talking about the cynics right now. The cynics who are in the mainstream message of the right
Right,
wing.
right, right.
They don't care. They would avail themselves of reproductive justice at
Right.
the drop of a hat, and also pro-life, pro-death penalty, pro-war, pro-torture,
I know,
pro-gun.
I know.
So they have
It's-
no right to say unless you walk it like you
But
walk the walk. with
don't
that.
you feel like? What do you think of this new feminism of? Okay, I'm going to talk like a guy, or
That's not new, and it's nonsense. Feminism is one thing. Human rights, equality. That's it.
That's
it's
what
not,
I
it's
believe.
not different.
I believe that. But
there are
but
some people that subgenre it and say
Right.
it, but it really at its core. And then a lot of times people
But
say,
I think it does it
feminism-
injustice. It doesn't do it justice when you're saying I'm a feminist because I'm going to talk about getting fucked in the ass.
Well, no, that's just as lame as saying it's empowering to take your clothes off.
Right,
That's
right.
not new. That's lazy.
Right.
That's just a lazy trope.
Right.
And somebody who feels a little bit guilty about what they're doing.
Right.
And usually, feminism means that you don't tell me what to do.
Right.
That's usually when somebody's defending
Right.
something that does fit into bowing down to the
Right,
patriarchy
right,
and the
exactly.
male gaze, GAZ.
right.
That's never going to change. That's been going on since time
Well,
immemorial.
forget it.
Shakespeare.
Go.
There is no end of people that will claim it's empowering to be nude or that they just wanted to conquer their
Right.
fears and so they were. It's just lazy talk from people justifying
Right.
something they feel vaguely guilty about. That they know at the core is a little bit
Yeah, it just enrages me.
right. But you don't get so angry about this stuff. You just
This is what my mother would say, Judith. Why do you get your blood pressure up? Everything. I'm like, it's not fair and blah blah.
well, there's
Judith,
plenty of things to get your blood pressure.
Why
up
do you
about.
get your blood pressure up? So it's just I don't know.
No, I hear you, and I can lose it sometimes, but I have learned that it is of no value sometimes.
Well, I learned that also from Gloria Steinem, who is never nonplussed.
she is cool.
I
as
mean,
a
she is
cucumber.
nonplussed. I
Yeah.
mean, she is always nonplussed.
and Katrina Vanden
Yes.
Heuvel and people like that,
and they
Sam.
just yes. And
They don't get
Sam.
emotional.
right?
And they
it's
say what
just,
needs to be
really,
said.
That's interesting.
Well,
and blah blah blah.
When
blah,
I was
blah.
on Air America, I would cry and get so upset these lies and at this cruelty and all the nonsense from the right wing.
What
and
are
all
you
that.
getting your blood pressure?
And
up
the
so
thing
much,
is, though,
Janeane?
the point is because like anyone who cares about things, even if it doesn't seem to affect you,
Right.
doesn't mean you shouldn't care about
Right.
it. And the injustice of it is troublesome to you.
Right.
So I hear you. I understand you. But what I learned from watching Sam is not that I can do it, but that's why he's a better person as a broadcaster. He can get the information out there without crying.
Well,
You know
I
what
just
mean?
went on,
and people can hear it and listen to it.
But he loves it when I go on and start screaming.
He loves getting people wound up.
Right,
And
about Donald Trump and
Loves it.
screaming. And he's like, oh, I loved it. It was great.
And he loves when right wingers call in and
Right.
try and challenge
Oh, yeah.
him. That he's in his element because he is cooler
Right.
than Stein.
I
You know what I
know.
mean? And he manages to get every bit of information while
Right.
taking shots at them, and they don't even
Right,
know
and
it.
I love it.
And he's brilliant. But that's the difference between him and you and I.
Right.
I cannot keep a lid on it,
Same.
and I cannot get through it to get to point B.
Right.
I get so upset.
Right.
I think
And-
both sides are important, and to hear both of those
I actually
responses and
disagree with that.
reactions-
I disagree with that, too.
There isn't.
Well,
there is. Let
you're
me
a bunch of
elaborate.
chicks.
Let me elaborate on that. There isn't two sides to every story. There's two sides to lots of stories, but there isn't two sides to the story of slavery and the suffragette story and homophobia or misogyny.
Holocaust.
That's not.
I agree with
There's
that.
not another
I'm
side to
saying
that.
the two deliveries of both.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you meant that so you could hear out the right
So
wing.
no, so you can hear the emotion in your voice when you deliver this story,
Mm-hmm.
and then hear the coolness and the things in between the emotion. In
I don't
Sam's
know
voice-
though. I think people get turned off by sometimes if you start getting
hysteria.
loud.
Yes,
and stuff
but
like
some
that.
people get more worked up by it. It's like Martin Luther King led by, hey, we're going to be quiet and just sit here until they kick us out, and then they'll see that. You know, it was more peaceful.
But there was far more
But
to it than
Malcolm
that.
X had more emotion.
Yeah, but
more
so Martin
pride.
Luther King, you hear him speak? He had.
That's what I'm saying.
Of
It was done with a person who was captivating,
Right.
and who spoke in a way that you could not deny,
Right.
You could not feel something,
Right.
Even if you felt the worst impulses, no one wasn't moved in
Right.
some way by this person. That's extraordinary.
Right.
But I just want to argue
That's
this
kinda-
point for a second because I'm wondering if when you
But I hear what you're saying.
I hear what you're saying.
I do
Great,
think
because we're
that
sitting right next to each other.
Hey, everyone hears.
no emotion I think does maybe
Not no emotion, just not the yelling and crying that
Right.
Judy and
The
I are
different.
prone
I
to.
mean, there is
Right.
emotion in talking like this.
Right.
There is a
Right.
lot.
Like
You're
Sam is talking
Yes.
like a person. He's just what I mean is he doesn't cry and get angry and.
But I wonder if some people can hear the crying and the laughter and recognize that's the only way that they recognize how serious it is. I think that there's some, people who just have not, maybe don't have the same way of thinking where you're thinking calmly and you're listening calmly. They're not necessarily. We're raised with very specific ideologies based on our parents and our environment and whatever. If I hear someone crying, I might be in a place where I needed to hear someone crying in order to hear what they're saying.
It could be, but the message can also be lost in that emotion.
Right.
And
Definitely.
like when
It's
you
more
see somebody crying
guaranteed.
on the right, or it seems maudlin, or like a politician, or Jimmy Swaggart crying.
Right,
I
right,
met
right.
a woman.
You know
and
what,
the crying,
really-
it's-
But you see
it can be
Obama
off-putting.
crying after
Right.
another school shooting, and
Right,
Right,
but
but it
also it's
wasn't a
because it
hysterical.
was unusual, and it's unusual.
And
he
it
showed that
wasn't
was-
a
and it-
hysterical.
hysterical
cry.
is a terrible
All right,
word.
I'm going to say
No,
something.
I know. Not hysterical as in hysteria of the womb, misogynistic.
Right.
But it was so out of character for him to show that kind of emotion, and also he cries. He looks great doing it. Some people
Right, and
look-
it's real.
Like John Bonaire used to cry all the time.
Yeah, and it was just and Hillary cries, and it's she's.
But also,
awful.
people did pretend to make hay of it. There's also
Right.
these non-issues that get trotted
Right.
out that people are talking and which is
Right.
always nonsense. Nobody Nobody is thinking this about this, or nobody thinks Bernie Sanders has to throw in the towel now that he asked his
Right.
wife not to say. Nobody, you know what I mean?
Right,
Like these
right.
are non-issues that get so that people in the press don't have to do their job.
Bingo.
Okay.
Dad, how can I boost my energy, lose my belly fat, and ease my stress?
Well, I know you don't like to eat vegetables or juice.
I hate vegetables. I hate fruits. I hate blending.
Do you like shopping?
I hate shopping.
Do you like cleaning up?
That's the worst.
Right. So, let me tell you something. There's this new thing called Organifi. Okay. It's organic, it's vegan, it's gluten-free, it's dairy-free, it's soy-free, it's free. It's free. It is free.
Can I get it here in this mall that we're hanging out in?
No, you can't get it here at the mall.
Oh,
okay.
where can I get it?
Well, you can get it online at www.organifi, ORGANIFI.com. And if you use the keyword GOLD, GOLD, that's my last name,
Nice.
you're going to get 20% off. So what it is it's like the best tasting greens on the market, and it has ashwagandha in it.
Hey, isn't that special ingredient that helps fight the fat storage hormone called cortisol?
Yes, and I just found out from my doctor that my fat storage hormone is so large that I'm renting out storage space for other people.
Well, they're going to be really upset when you start drinking this Organifi
I know.
juice.
I'm going to have to take all their crap out of my fat storage hormone, but
And
I'll
put it
have
in the toilet.
Right, but I'll have increased energy and improved mental focus.
So let me get this straight. By the way, they don't say that anymore.
Oh, I know.
Organifi.com. Use code GOLD and I'll get 20% off of this energy boosting.
Yes. You'll have more energy.
And I don't have to eat fruits and vegetables anymore?
No, you don't have to do anything. You can have that crappy hot dog you just ate
Oh.
on St. Mark's Place, you idiot.
I think I'll go get another one then.
Okay, well, now that you have a very low fat storage hormone, why don't you have 5? Now,
What I have to.
I know, we're at the end.
We're kicking you out.
You're saying that like you're mad, like I was being unreasonable, Judy. The tone of voice you
But
used
we have two things that we do with every guest.
Ooh.
Well,
Is it
first
hurt?
of all,
Is it gonna hurt?
No.
It'll feel
First
good.
of all, the podcast is called Kill Me Now because I say that about 100 times a
Right.
day. The Kill Me Now moment I had today was the fact that my PayPal account is suspended because my 14-year-old son Ben sold a hoodie on PayPal. Took money on my PayPal account
Right.
for a hoodie he promised someone and never sent it. And now my PayPal account is suspended because he never he's 14. I'm like,
Did
10.
you tell him this? Does he know
I
how
just did.
upset
I
you are,
said
or does he have
you're-
to listen to the podcast to know how
No.
you're feeling?
I told him he's not going out. I said, you're finding. He's like, I don't know. I said, you find it. I will put it in a package and you will go to the post office yourself and mail.
Well, how much do you use PayPal?
I never use it. But I don't want.
No, I know what you're saying, but I didn't know whether you're the type of person who's like always utilizing this. It's really
No, I'm not. You can ask Hennessy. I am so anal about paying my bills and
No, it's very frustrating when people do things like that. No matter what it is, when they say it, when it affects making
Right.
phone calls and
Right.
starting a credit card, like somebody who a very simple thing they said they were going to do.
Right.
But the worst is when you confront them and they're like, "What? You're out of line somehow."
No, I can't
for-"
find it now. That's what he says. All right, so I need to
But that's
know.
a 14-year-old
Right.
person for you.
What pisses you off the most?
Oh gosh, today or in general?
In general, what is the thing?
I guess
today.
willful, prideful ignorance, and I guess I don't know. I guess all the damage that has been done since the founding of mainstream media,
Right.
Since there was a printing press to
Right.
to print a flyer that
Right.
that had misinformation,
Right.
Because it has affected our lives from generation to generation, and
La
it's not
Dua
going to ever
Vidua.
change. It's not
Right.
ever. That's never going to change. That's the nature of corporate media. This will never change. Luckily, people have more access to information than ever before, but
Right.
also access to disinformation. I think injustices that go on and on harm me. Like McGovern, the myth that McGovern was a total failure and it was a landslide loss. I don't believe that, but I believe it is in the interest of the mainstream political
Right.
machine.
And they keep bringing it
to
up.
bring it up. That's what I'm
yeah,
saying.
yeah.
I don't believe for a second.
I don't. I
because
thought it was close. I remember.
I'm sure. I don't know what it was, but I
Right.
don't believe for a second
Right,
it was the
right.
landslide we were told. I also
Right.
don't believe Reagan won in a landslide.
Oh, yeah.
There's been nothing but George Washington had his minions pay people to vote for him. This is just business, people. This is not tinfoil hat
Did you
time.
know that George
That's
Washington
the nature of people.
grew hemp on his plantation?
Oh, that may be fine, but
Yeah.
what I'm
And
saying
he
is
loved
election fraud
dancing.
is part of it. That, it isn't a conspiracy. Well, conspiracy just means to breathe together in Latin. That word gets a bad rap.
Right.
I also think Julius Caesar was a reformer.
Right.
And that's why he was assassinated, not a dictator. I'm serious about that. There's others that think that, but I think that too. You don't get assassinated by an aristocrat
Right.
who wants a dictator for being an aristocratic dictator. You get assassinated when you are a reformer.
Right.
And that's just one example. I feel through history,
Yes.
there are people who have devoted their lives to fighting the good fight who are branded, and there's nothing more powerful than a fixed idea. Once an idea is out there, that is the story.
Right.
And it gets handed down. And that's also why Grover Norquist is so... the Monument Project. Name everything after Bush and Reagan so that generations think they were great men who did great things. That's the whole point of the Monument Project and George W. Bush's library.
Right.
And that upsets me
There's
greatly.
4 books.
I love
in
that you
George
talk
W.
about
Bush's
this
library.
stuff wherever
Now,
you go. I love it, and I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you, Hennessy. Thanks for
Janine-
letting me upstairs.
Anytime.
Janine,
Judy.
you have... All right. There's 2 more questions.
Yes.
You have no computer.
I do not use a computer. People don't believe me, but my boyfriend does have a computer, and when forced, people can send email to him, or he will show me things.
How is that? People cannot email you,
right? But
And,
they
how
try
is that?
anyway.
Right, but how is that? Don't you feel a sense of freedom and independence?
It is quite well because of I'm 52. Most of my life is without this stuff,
That's
as
what I
yours too.
say,
So
yes.
it's very natural,
Right, to me,
I
too.
did try and use a computer during Air America. It opened a portal I didn't want to be part of.
Right.
Now, there's many great things that comes with a computer. Please don't misunderstand me. I realize it's the great democratic medium. I realize all the good that it does.
Right.
It also opens up a world that you don't want to be part of. And also, there was no surprise to me about the NSA. I don't understand why anyone was surprised. If you can communicate with another, people can see you. If with the OnStar, the early incarnations of the thing in your car where a voice would come on and say you've had an accident. If they can do that, then you must know they can listen at any time. That to me, it was like when Lance Bass came out and people, and I don't mean this as a joke, but like, surprise, I'm gay. That didn't seem surprising to me when Lance Bass came out. That is not me being glib. I'm just saying.
You're right. I get it.
When the NSA stuff, the Chelsea Manning and the Edward Snowden, there was nothing to me about that that was surprising. And I remember trying to tell friends about that.
Oh, preach.
All the time about, just so you know, I think you should be aware of the camera on your computer and this, that, and the other, and you're on Star.
I feel like I'm being watched all
and you are.
I am.
And you are. And that's just the nature of society. I can deal with that. There's nothing you can do about the CCTV and all of that. Fine. But the hatred, the vitriol, the nonsense, the cyberbullying, all of that, can't have it in my life. Also, I get easily overwhelmed. I really do. I get easily overwhelmed, and I move towards anxiety very easily. I wish I didn't.
Which is why I don't sleep with it in my room.
Right.
I don't go out to dinner with it.
Well, you have kids. You must be connected in some way.
But
so.
then I have to throw it. I have to.
Yeah.
We went to France, Elisa and I, for 5 days, and I wanted no service.
Right. Oh, I don't. When I go international,
Yeah.
I don't get. I also don't have a smartphone. It's just a regular cell phone. I have it on me today because I
believe
thought I
me,
might
I
if
have
there
a
was any
smartphone,
problems.
and it's
at
dumb.
But the thing is, you have
Piece
kids.
of
If I had
shit.
kids, I'd have to be on the grid that way. And I'm not off the grid. Certainly, nobody can be really.
Right.
Except for
I
those
love that.
Mormon
I love that about
compound.
you.
Oh no, it's not. It's value neutral, and I'm not doing it in a noble way. I just know me.
I
well
just
enough
love that
to
because
know.
I wish I had the capacity.
And if I had kids, I couldn't
of
do
course.
it. But rarely do I have my phone on me.
Right.
Honestly, but I do want to be polite when people get in touch with me,
Right.
and so I will check my phone at some
Right.
point. I will return all calls with
You
alacrity,
do, yes.
and texts, and you will have to sacrifice if you have no social media platforms, which I don't. There's a fake me tweeting and a fake Facebook.
Right.
It's not me. You will sacrifice asses and seats as a comic.
Right.
I'm willing to do that. That's
Right.
absolutely fine for me. You
Right.
have to. People think, and all the time, people think I will run into somebody who says, "Why did you quit acting? Why did you quit doing stand-up?" And I always say, "I didn't. I just."
It's
not,
so
I'm
ridiculous
not really,
because
you know what I mean?
now-
I'm just not really out there in that way. I don't have a Twitter account and all that kind of stuff. And
Now
also-
a comic who has 500,000 followers because they did a 3-minute video of themselves
Can get a
puking
Netflix
with
special.
underwear on their head. They're booked at all these comedy clubs, and yet
Although that's not sort of new either. Remember back in the old days of the comedy competition with the Foxes?
Yes,
in
yes,
San
yes.
Francisco, for 2 minutes, you would win with a 2-minute set and get booked in all their stuff.
And I've seen you in more shows in the last few months than I see you work all the time.
I actually don't, but that's very nice. I don't know what you're seeing unless they're reruns.
All
but
right. All right.
but people
in
do
clubs.
think unless you're ubiquitous
In clubs.
people. And I don't have a way to tell people where I'm performing and stuff like that. So
I'll do it.
But
People
it's
are
worth it. I'm
speaking for
free.
you.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Now,
I feel free.
I wanted to talk about your Barbara Walters interview, but we've run out of
Oh my
time.
God, that's 100 billion. 1996, right?
2011. Didn't you have another one, or they repeated it in 2000?
Oh, they must have repeated. I mean, I was on news things for the anti-war stuff.
Right,
That's
right,
in the
right,
2000s.
right.
But
But I
Barbara
just-
Walters was, I think, 96.
I know, but you got interviewed by her.
I did, and she kept trying to make me cry over my mom, and I wouldn't do it. I don't know if you know this, but there was parts edited out where she was saying, "So your mother died," and I was like, "What?" I kept pretending that she was telling me, and I didn't know, and she would say, "Cut." And then I
Right.
would say, she would try it again, and then she would say, "Your mother was very sick." What? When? And she would I wouldn't do it. I don't want to prostitute stuff like that
Right.
for her
Of
in
course.
that milieu.
All right.
And that was. And why do you make yourself look unattractive? That question, and I was like, I
Oh,
don't
my
make
God.
myself. I don't know what that's your opinion. I don't make myself look unattractive.
Oh my
But
God.
that I enjoyed the heck out of that because of that.
It was great.
But it was amazing to say to her, "My mom's dead." Like and
Right.
she had no. First of all, she didn't care to be interviewing me. She didn't really
Right.
know who I was. She was
Right.
just told to do it.
Right.
And she hated me not allowing her to continue with that line of
Right,
questioning
right,
about
right.
the dead mom.
I love it. We one final question we ask all of our guests: are you on any antidepressants?
I am not, but I have found, because I'm not allowed to drink and I'm not allowed to smoke pot anymore because I overdo it in both.
Right.
I have found a new way to get whacked for a brief amount of time. I do have a bad back, L5S1. And I sometimes am given muscle anti-inflammatories because I have a bulging disc for sciatica.
Right.
What I do is I take a pill cutter and take these pills, which is the generic for carisopropidol, prescription, and I cut them and cut them and cut them until it's like a fine powder. I pour it on my cigarette.
Nice. Cocoa Puffs.
Wait, and this is a joke, of
Wait,
course,
do
and
you
therefore
lick-
not
you lick-
actionable in a court of law.
Wait,
I'm
don't
not
you
joking.
lick the cigarette
No, no,
under the first?
yeah, I
Yes.
have to make it wet a little bit.
Yes.
But also, if I just leave it sitting in the dust, and then I walk briskly from point A to point B, really getting my arms in it so that I'm winded,
Right.
and smoke that cigarette, I am as... Like when you were a kid and you used to hyperventilate before
Right,
you
right,
passed
right.
out. Picture that while smoking the dust of the generic for carisopropidol.
I want to
And
know how you
I-
came
Wait,
to
but
this
does it get
method.
into
It was
your
an accident.
bloodstream?
It was
Does
no, and it's over very quickly, and you're absolutely
Right.
and also if I had to, if somebody confronted me even in the moment, they wouldn't know. I
Right.
just know that I feel very lightheaded.
love that.
and very.
You know what I
optimistic.
remember from my drug days?
What?
One of my favorite things was licking the end of my cigarette, dipping it in cocaine.
I never tried
yes.
cocaine.
Oh.
And for no reason. I find, and believe me, for no reason. It
was
just
just
alcohol
that
was my
hit.
thing.
I don't
you
know. I
No,
for
it's
my
very
kids' sake, I
satisfying.
only did cocaine once.
No, it's very satisfying to smoke the stuff. I don't
Right.
know why.
I
but-
love smoking. I just
Yeah.
did. I was just in the Woody Allen, the Amazon thing, and I had
Oh
to
my
smoke
God,
a
you were?
cigarette. Yes, it's one scene.
Still.
It was
That's
with
amazing.
him, which was great.
You want me to pick that
And-
name up for you?
But anyway,
No, that's amazing.
I got to smoke. I was so excited. But it was
you
fake
can smoke
cigarettes.
on Amazon. Oh, yeah, it's those herbal, horrible
Yeah,
things. But
it takes place in 1968. So
congratulations.
Yeah,
That's
thank you.
wonderful.
Awesome.
Working with Woody Allen, really, that's one of
yeah,
those
yeah.
milestones
Yeah.
that every comic.
and it was a really funny where he's I'm not allowed to talk about it.
Right,
but
right.
We have a fight.
And don't talk about it because in this modern age, what you don't want, it's like worse than the Stasi.
Right.
Nothing goes undocumented. That's why I can't believe there's ghosts. I won't believe it until somebody has a ghost on their phone. How is it that these people haven't
Well, actually,
seen
our
ghosts?
next guest is a ghost.
Really?
Yes, the ghost and Mrs. Muir.
Oh, is there? Oh, my God. Edward Mulhare. Or Mulder.
yeah.
Such a handsome bearded
Yes.
gentleman.
All right.
Oh, my gosh. Is somebody waiting to go on? And
Yes,
I'm
Julie Holston is here.
Holy, I'm sorry. And I'm
No, she doesn't care.
I'm not your
very
fault.
easy.
Person.
We
come in,
haven't
and
ended
then-
the show yet, so don't worry.
Yeah,
it's not
we're
your
ending
fault.
now.
Well, what are we sitting
I'm
around
so
here for? Let's get
excited.
this over with. Grandma's got to urinate again.
All right, listen. I can't thank you enough, Janeane.
No, thank
Gilf.
you.
And you know what's great about the end of this interview? I don't have to say where you are on Twitter. I don't have to
I
say
know.
I love it. But you work a lot. You do a lot of stand-up. You work at Eastville.
I'll be at Eastville tonight, actually.
Oh, that's, well, then, yeah. So
There you
look
go.
on the Eastville website.
Yeah, Eastville says, but Marco will say people are there that are not there just every week. He just has a blanket statement of who's there.
I know. I've been there the past few weeks, and I've been away.
Yeah, he just lists Gaffigan,
I
Judah
know.
Freelander, you, me, whether we're there or not.
Right. But you're a delight, and I've
You are,
always
thank you.
been a huge fan and admired you from afar. AFAR. And I have to say, I think this is the least I've had the fewest amount of curse words on this podcast than ever before.
Really? Then you
Yes.
must really get him in there because I feel at the top, and it was front loaded at the top
Right.
with a lot of F-bombs.
I get very overwhelmed, and I and my brain is working
Yeah.
too fast, and I curse.
Yes, I get overwhelmed, but my thing is to shut down.
Right.
And
But
I
you
can't talk, I
never
can't talk.
curse.
I try not to. I mean, I do, and I probably have. It's just I
Just
don't.
say fuck once.
I don't feel comfortable saying that. But I mean, I do, and I have.
Shit.
It's just that I don't in my real life. So to do it, and believe me, it pops out
Okay.
occasionally, but I don't.
You use it
ordinarily.
when it's nice and
I guess,
loaded.
or when it just pops out. I really don't mean it. Sometimes it comes out when I
Right.
really didn't mean it to, but it just did. And
Okay.
that's the way it is.
Fine. And that's
Boulder
the way
Dash.
it is.
Boulder Dash.
That's the way it is. Ladies and gentlemen,
Good night and good luck.
good night. Thank you, Janine.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much.
This is Kill Me Now with Judy Gold.
This is my.
I didn't finish my intro.
Oh my gosh,
I'm
guys,
sorry.
you guys are so. Don't fight so much. Don't
All right.
do it.
This
I'm a
is-
masochist.
Yeah. This
Apparently.
is Kill Me Now with Judy Gold. And Lauren Hennessy. Okay, Hennessy, go.
This has been my dream come true. Just every woman I love in this room.
It's
right
just a
now.
woman's
All right.
sandwich.
Oh my god!
Actually, not even a
I
sandwich.
am
just
in I'm in like a woman bowl of cereal.
a layer cake. A woman layer. No, it's not. It's lateral like cereal.
And
You're right.
these are the like 1, 2, 3, 4 women I would want in my bowl of
All right.
women's cereal. So thank
That's
you all.
Well, you
great.
shouldn't let one of them yell at you so much.
Yeah.
You shouldn't let one of the pieces of cereal yell at you so
Well,
much.
I
maybe
know,
the other
but-
pieces should step in and yell at me a little bit more.
Yeah. I think Hennessy likes that.
Oh,
All right.
she likes it.
Yes.
Oh, I'm
it's-
sorry.
She's a he. She's a he, actually.
Oh, before Caitlyn was
Yeah.
cool. Doesn't
Oh my
matter.
gosh.
I'm not transitioning.
I just thought Hennessy was.
Hennessy
I'm sorry.
is
I
a
assigned
boy.
it a
It's my name.
right, but I assigned it the name of like Hennessy, like
Right.
like a waspy girl's
Yeah.
name.
But
no,
Hennessy
it's very-
is a
I'm
boy
sorry.
who,
It's my drag
who has-
name.
will not
Sorry,
get
I thought
surgery.
it
Don't
was
be
a
sorry.
waspy girl name.
All right.
It is,
Listen,
kind of.
I got to end this.
Sorry,
You got it. Don't be sorry.
Yeah.
I'm
Listen,
pretty.
I
It's
love
cool.
you, Janine.
you are. So I thought you were.
I love
Thanks.
you.
Oh
Okay,
my
shut
God.
up.
Sorry, my
Sorry.
dream is coming true right now. I'm sorry.
Check
Okay,
it.
go.
Bavakasha.
Hey.
Thank you, Janine. Will you come back?
I will.
Oh,
I will.
good. All right. I love you.
Thank you. I love
Thank
you
you.
too.
And I love all our listeners. So thanks for listening and so long.
Is that an impression of somebody? Or just
That's my mother.
And everything was wonderful. I'll see you soon. Thank you for the visit. So long.
Hey, I'm Ryan Reynolds. Recently, I asked Mint Mobile's legal team if big wireless companies are allowed to raise prices due to inflation. They said yes. And then when I asked if raising prices technically violates those onerous 2-year contracts, they said, "What the f*** are you talking about, you insane Hollywood ass?" So to recap, we're cutting the price of Mint Unlimited from $30 a month to just $15 a month. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes per details.